Hello, I'm Cecilia Louie of Paper Zen. In this video, I'll be showing you how to outline the lowercase letter S. I already have my strip pre-folded here, and as you can guess, there's two really difficult, challenging, curvy bits, but you know what? We're going to tackle these together and it shouldn't pose a problem. So because this entire segment here is curved, I'm going to first soften that entire segment. And don't worry, yes, I know it's going in the wrong direction, but we're just kind of basically taming the fibers so that, you know, the entire strip is softened. That way we aren't having any funny kinks going on. Luckily enough, this is already following that larger curve here. So as you can see here, where it gets kind of a tighter curve, we're just going to grip right around here and kind of scrape along that segment. And as you scrape, you can see how the curve becomes tighter. So a little bit more until we get the curve that we're looking for. And just about here, we just need to start having these guys not argue with one another. So I'm just going to rub where I think that that small curve is going to be. There, look at that. Look what happens when they have their own space. So I'm just going to do that a little bit more. Basically, anytime I need to know kind of like a general direction, a lodestone, if you will, I'll put the corner pieces down because I know that those are kind of set in stone, if you will, and I can see it gives me a good gauge as to how far off my curves are, and in this case it's pretty off. So I've got quite a bit of fixing to do here. And that's okay. This is a challenging letter, so we're just going to keep going at it until we get what we want. And because this needle, well, it's not a needle, it's a crochet hook, isn't giving me a tight enough curve right in here, I'm going to work this area with my needle instead. And it's still not quite where I want it to go, so I'm just going to actually pinch. There we go. And I'm just going to give just a gentle scrape right here. And you don't need to follow it like 100%. I would say about 90% of following that line is enough. If you feel that while the moment that you go to glue, you can adjust and finesse and coax the curve into where you want, you know, during the gluing phase, then this is enough. And for me, that's pretty close. So I feel pretty comfortable in letting that go. So now we're just going to do the opposite side, and we're basically going to follow the same methodology. So I'm softening the entire curve just to make sure that the pulp is, you know, fluid during the entire length. So as you can see, here is where I need to start making my curve more acute. And I'm just going to bend this guy out of the way just so we're not having to fight for space here. So a little bit more right there. And then now we're just going to go in the opposite direction. And we just need to start rubbing right here. And if you're not a fan of pinching your curve, there's another technique that sometimes I do. It really just depends on whatever my fingers want to do. So you can see it's getting close. Sometimes what I do instead of pinching here is actually pinch more around my tool. And so this way it's still using the crochet hook, but I'm able to get a tighter curve like that. So again, I think this is pretty much close enough, maybe a little bit off, so I'm just going to hold it down here, and this is the part where you wish you had 8 arms. Because what I want to do is just give it just a gentle pinch. There. I think that's the curve I'm after. Okay, let's glue that down to our surface. Now, if you don't know how to transfer your letter to your work surface, you might want to watch some of my earlier videos where I show that in more detail. I'm going to start by gluing this straight segment down first. It's going to basically act as a, you know, I guess a stable starting ground. It's so easy, it's such a short segment, it's straight, there's no challenge involved in this, so might as well tackle something easy so that, you know, it just kind of holds things in place as I tackle other parts. So I'm just going to start from this side first. So I'm just going to tackle one section at a time. And then as I get to this corner, I'm just going to check, has anything changed? Is there anything I want to adjust before I start gluing the rest of it down? Now's the time to figure it out. And do you see how I can still move it around before I press from above? it still has quite a lot of forgiveness. All right, now let's just test to make sure that this is going to end up where we want it to end up. It's good to do that before you start doing the glue. Now you can imagine it's hard to get in here like this, so I'm just going to do it a different way. I'm just going to pick up this glue because it's fairly fresh and I don't like to waste it. So I'm just going to apply it to my paper strip. Make sure, just double check that, you know, none of this glue is smeared to the other side, because we don't want to accidentally touch the card with that. And make sure you clean your hands, and this way, now that we have it on our strip, we can get into these tighter areas better. And just slowly work your way. There's no timer or t-shirt at the end of the race, so just take your time. And just remember to lift this strip up so that you clear that glue. You don't want to be smearing it on the side. And you know, if you do, like I have it here, it's not a big deal. Just check and take it off before it finishes drying. So now that we're nearing this end here, I'm just going to stick this harder, stiffer card here down to act as kind of like a stopgap here. I don't want to go too far this way or that way. This will help me align those two edges. Now, as you guys make your monograms, your gifts for loved ones, I would love to hear, you know, what the reactions have been from your loved ones, you know, because I don't know about you, but when I'm making things for people, it's, I guess in my head, I'm imagining how they're going to react. And the last step here is to pick up some glue and just run it along the side of your strip. Take off the excess and then run the edge up that corner. So yeah, if you can let me know how people react. I mean, this craft takes a long time, and seeing their reaction, I think, is what makes everything worth it. Have fun with your letter S. Don't forget to visit my blog to download your free template to give it a try. As for how to fill in the letters, please watch my previous videos for a variety of ideas. I want to keep improving my tutorials, so would you let me know what tip was new for you in the comments below, or what technique you enjoyed learning about most? If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it 2 thumbs up. Thanks, and see you next time.